hit that Jugong. Ooh, hit that Jugong. Ooh, 639 hit the Jugong. Ooh, hit it. Ooh. Yo, what it do, my measly crew? We're here today for that volume 65. I am your co-captain, as always, warming up the vocal cords in order to lay out that luscious red meaty carpet. I do mean my tongue, for the matter of fact.
Oh, my Lord.
Our hero and captain and the greatest man alive, homeboy Captain Simeon D. Mumkey D. Jones.
Yes, folks, we switched it up 65 episodes in to see, hey, what if Aggie introduced the show? And I think it's paying back dividends already. Now my throat's nice and ready to declare that we're covering chapters 637 to 646 of One Piece. And Aggie, I will say, last episode we set somewhat of a record in terms of length. It was our shortest episode since episode 6. So not since Baratier have we had so little to say about a volume since Sanji tells Jinbei to commit suicide or to kill himself. And I'm wondering if we'll set that record again today.
Well, it's certainly a possibility, and I think my top of mind might reflect that reality, to be quite sincerely honest.
But before we go into Aggie's top of mind, maybe we should ask our third co-host. Like we promised, every 5 volumes we'll have somebody special call in, whether it be Heartsy or E-Rich or Biggs. And we're getting a little bit repetitive because last time we called my neighbor JJ, and I think we're going to have to get his opinion again today. And there's really only one way to get his attention. JJ!
Oh, you know, what is... I think my oven just started on fire. I better go check that out.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, no. Well, we're going to lose Aggie, folks. Oh, maybe JJ's sleeping. I'll yell again. JJ! Oh, Aggie's back. Hey, Aggie, help me yell for JJ. Here, maybe he'll answer if you yell for him.
Oh, yeah. You know, I think I just saw him outside my window, as a matter of fact. Maybe that was him breaking in might have been starting the fire. Hey, JJ, hey, you read that volume 65, bro? Oh yeah, man, this shit was crazy, bro. I mean, you get some grease. I go, yeah.
Now,
JJ,
for those of you watching the video feed, Aggie's trying to suck his own dick right now. It's not something else happening.
Hey, so what was your top of mind from volume 65, JJ? I can't remember how we had you call in that last time, but it's good that you're outside my window because this will work.
Yeah, this sounds great.
Oh man,
you can. How about you put your hand in front of the camera so we can't see you trying to suck your own cock, and then JJ can speak clearly into the microphone. What is? How about you just tell us what JJ's top of mind was? I guess. Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. Hand in front of the. Block your shame. Dark Side Phil.
Oh yeah, see man, I just didn't want to get on the camera like that, man. I'm ducking this warrant right now. Either way, man. So yeah, my top of mind, bro. Man, this shit was crazy right here because. Man, I can't believe that boy Hody smoked his own homeboy like that, man. Man, they had him locked in, man. Man, I know Aggie was saying last time with, man, Vanderdecker, bro, he was throwing that motherfucking shit, man, and that was crazy, bro. And, I mean, I thought for sure they had to be locked in after that, bro. Like, man, you know, like, this is going to be the new world order, you know what I'm saying? Really something different, but... Man, I can't believe he smoked his own boy like that, man. That was
well,
crazy.
Let's talk about it, because JJ, I really wanted you on this volume in particular, because we're exploring Fishman oppression, and maybe it's a metaphor for oppression felt by minorities in America to some extent. Do you think that as maybe a leader of this ghetto group of gangsters, or like pirates perhaps, is Hody going too far in slaying his fellow Fishman? Should he reserve that violence only for the humans?
So, you know, it's kind of crazy because, like, it's a little bit, you know, like, definitely it's got reflections of reality, like, what we had gone through for real. But, like, you know what I'm saying, for us, for what we had going on with our, you know what I'm saying, parties and unique things we had going on, it was the government put people in our business, you feel me, get us messed up. Now, this one, you know, Hody, you know what I'm saying, like, he for the people, but at the same time, like, he gets on his own head, you feel me, that it's more like, that's how he's going to turn around and hurt his own people. So it kind of reminds me like, you know what I'm saying, like a drug dealer for real, you know what I'm saying? Like he trying to do what he do and trying to make his way, like he trying to stand up above everybody else, and he might be putting on some conscious stuff, you know, but at the end of the day, you feel me, like he really hurting his own people at the same time, and really he building himself up on the blood and the bones of his own people. So I don't think that's right. It's really just him trying to be like real, like a dictator for real, but trying to put it up in subconscious. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this for you, but it's really at the end of the day, it's for him. You know what I'm saying? So, like we definitely have had some things like that, and you know, it is definitely a reflection. And I feel like on both sides, you know, like we need to do more, better in real life. And you know what I'm saying? The fish people deserve better too. You know what I'm saying? So Luffy, you know, he's kind of like a civil rights leader. You know what I'm saying, in his own way, but like in the One Piece version, you feel me?
Yeah, and Hody is using the authoritarian playbook where you preach to the masses stuff that makes sense, but really inside, as they say, Hody is empty. He's fueled by nothing but hatred passed down from his ancestors, hatred that he personally can't even relate to. They ask him, what did the humans do to you to make you like this? He says, nothing. This is Hody's nothing happened moment in One Piece, and this is a legendary little bit of dialogue, at least for me. People remember Hody only for his nothing answer. That Oda even highlights, like 4 chapters earlier, we get to see this moment, and it's muted. Never before in One Piece do we see the characters say it, but we can't hear what they're saying, and then the reveal is just, they did nothing to me. I hate them because of what they did to my ancestors, and Oda is arguing that's a completely hollow motivation for a character. And I'm wondering, is Oda correct in your opinion? Is passed down inherited will, but in terms of inherited hatred, is that truly a hollow motivation? Or maybe Hody didn't have to go down this authoritarian dictator, I'm just in it for me and my violence route. Could he have converted this hatred into still hateful, but for his people?
See, first off, you know, like when he's coming at it like this type of way, you know what I'm saying, he's agitated in his mind. You got like Arlong, you know what I'm saying, like he's a big homie for real, and he putting these ideas in his head, because it's when if you don't want to get tricked out your position, like Arlong don't want to get tricked out of his position. Anytime you know what I'm saying, a human or somebody who's rocking with the humans is overtaking you, or they're outdoing you, or they're embarrassing you, they're humiliating you, you feel me, in front of your people, then that's just gonna put a chip on your shoulder for one. But Hody, you know what I'm saying, and really Arlong too, they're getting tricked out their position. They could have been making this money in a different type of way, you know, or they could have still been doing this pirate thing, but they could have come about it a different way. But it's really just, you know what I'm saying, they just get too much in their own heads about, you know, what the humans did do, or what they heard about the humans did, and they really sit on that, and they really let that, you know what I'm saying, boil up in their brain, and it gets them twisted up, and you know what I'm saying, and they stop thinking about, oh, I'm gonna do for mine. I'm not gonna think about getting this money. I'm not gonna think about getting this treasure, or this, you know what I'm saying, pirate ships, whatever they want to get for. They get so focused on, you know what I'm saying, getting mad about something that it's not even anybody, like he said, it's nothing, because that ain't nobody even around, you feel me? He's going after the Straw Hats, you know, just because they're there. Like, he just really trying to go at anybody that's a human for real and tricking them out of his position. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna end up with nothing at the end of the day, and that's why he gets caught up by nothing. He's gonna end up with nothing for real. Should make him turn on his own people. It's crazy.
JJ, is Aki blocking the camera, or is it just an extreme close-up on your face?
No, you know, I got this little problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is my girl. She wouldn't let me park up, you know what I'm saying, at her place. So I had to park it, you know what I'm saying, like in the middle of the street for a few days. It might have been like a month or something like that. So they're impounding me and all this, you know what I'm saying? I ain't paying none of it.
Is that why you were breaking into Aggi's house about 5 minutes ago?
Nah, see, this is my new thing I'm doing is I'm going to test your windows and make sure that they're working right, you feel me? And then I could come. So I was going to go knock on his door.
Doing a service for everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Let them know that they're at risk of being burglarized.
Plus, it's like winter and everything now, so you don't want no snow and shit coming up in your window. So like, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, make sure everybody right. So.
I remember back on To Catch a Predator, some of the predators in their car, they'd have a letter that says, "I'm just going to this house to teach the girl a lesson about the dangers of internet." So you're kind of doing that same service. It's like an alibi letter. I just wanted to test and see if your house could be broken into.
That's when me and my girl broke up, but I said, no, for real, like, I got some of my things up in there, so I should be able to come up in there. And that's why I was telling the police, though, too, because I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? It could have been, like, you know, that was my girl, but it could have been, who knows who coming up in that motherfucker. So, like, really, but I was really trying to tell them, like, they got to give me my shit. And they're like, oh, no, we got to, you know, she got to set that up. You can't be breaking in or whatever. I was like,
you should start Home Safety Testers LLC, and then your alibi letter could be like in your car. You have your certificate of business that says this is what I do for a living, and then show it to the police. I mean, it makes sense to me. JJ, any final thoughts about One Piece? As a Black One Piece fan, was anything Mickey to you?
Man. Shit, not for, you know, like, not really. I don't think so. Like,
okay, good.
They put it together pretty good.
Nothing Mickey in this volume where like Noah's Ark is chasing a mermaid through Atlantis, and then it's gonna fall and crush Atlantis to death. It's all pretty straightforward.
No, checked out for me, for real, yeah.
Okay. Well, if Aggi's done sucking his own dick, he can rejoin us. It's so rude that he leaves whenever my black friend calls in. That I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, man, I don't know if he always want to give me some space. I think he was putting his window back on, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause this shit was kind of fucked up, so this shit fell out. So he might have had to go put that back in.
He's not pulling a Trevor
hey,
Moore.
Bro, hey, man, your thing back on, bro. Okay, I'm coming.
Wait, is that JJ's impression of Aggie? What was that? What is happening? Aggie's been killed and JJ's pretending to be him? Oh, thank God. I don't know what I thought happened to Aggie, but I'm relieved to see your face.
That was just my regular voice that I was yelling from across the it must have been all that window lifting.
That's what you sound like from the living room. I forgot.
Yep.
Well, that's JJ's top of mind. Was that the same as yours?
No, it was not.
Okay. Well,
what I overheard.
Good. I'm glad you're caught up. And to be clear, Trevor Moore, I'm saying, died from sucking his own dick, as reported by his friends. I wasn't saying Aggie's about to fall out of his window.
So my top of mind, it actually plays into something that we critiqued on the previous episode. So last time we had these, Fishman, pirate generals, these top dogs, all this very unnecessary feeling exposition on them last time. It was very just, was my reaction. However, I'm gonna bring up a top of mind this time around. I feel like I was okay with it now after this volume, because this volume is very full of really two things, and the one I'll just kind of stick to my top of mind here being these Fishman generals versus Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Frankie, Brook, and Chopper. And I think that extra stuff that we got from them last volume that felt like unnecessary and too much, I felt like it worked well enough to set the stage for the conflict between the Straw Hats and these the new Fishman pirate generals. How would I abbreviate that? NFMPG, that's too many words. Okay, so new Fishman pirate generals. I thought it was a benefit, and that kind of ended up sticking out for me, because I was like, okay, by the time I was finished with this volume, I was maybe less perturbed and a little more gracious about the information we were given last time. And so, Oda, I should have never doubted you. I should have been a plant truster. It's my fault.
I see the utility here being, it's been 2 years since the Straw Hats started their training. We want to see what they're capable of. Fishman, we hyped them all the way up in East Blue. They're so much stronger than a human. Could you even imagine a human fighting a normal Fishman? It's impossible. So to see all of our Straw Hats, including weak, puny Usopp, I think you left out of your list there. Everybody's pulling out their new ace card here. And maybe because we played One Piece Burning Blood and have already seen all of these attacks that are like revealed in this very volume, maybe it had a little less pizzazz slightly, just because, and I'm trying to speak from the virgin perspective of somebody who also played this video game before going through this arc. I guess we kind of spoiled ourselves on a lot of these attacks, in a way.
Well, to be honest, now I haven't played Burning Blood for probably over a month. It is what it is. But, I was really just spamming Rob Lucci's ranged kick more than anything. And I think most of the characters I was playing were heavies, like Whitebeard and Frankie. So I probably did get spoiled on Frankie, but I feel like a lot of these attacks weren't necessarily, for one, they weren't necessarily so much of a spoiler, I guess, for me, or at least I didn't really remember these attacks in particular. Or I might have just not known how to use them in the game and I was spamming, and that's why I lost. But also, none of these are so, like, completely out of left field. Like, we've seen them utilize similar attacks before. It's just that now I think we're seeing, it's really just the next step up in their abilities. So it wasn't like something so completely crazy. Other than, General Frankie, he's kind of doing some stuff maybe we haven't really seen before, but I played him in Burning Blood more than anybody, and I didn't really remember these attacks, but my attention span is a little bit lacking at times, so that might just be on me.
The point I'm trying to get at about these new Fishman generals here is I still don't need all of the build-up to them if ultimately they're just going to be defeated, hypothetically, if we're to believe the events of this volume, by our Straw Hat's new ultimate attacks. And the fact that it started 100,000 against 10. Did these guys really put up that much more of a fight than the other 99,000? I mean, maybe they had maybe one extra panel of fighting back ultimately, but if it's just an excuse to show off the Straw Hat's super new ability, why did we waste multiple chapters showing that invisible guy is stupid?
I mean, to be honest, I probably got more laughs out of, what's his name, Zoo, him and Brooke. I think that was probably the most. Zio, yeah, you're right. That was probably what I got the most chuckles out of, to be honest. I mean, I like the drunken squid. He's like the first one we see that outside of Hody, who has the energy steroids take effect, and we kind of see him getting all like, as somebody who frequently mixes uppers and downers at the same time, I felt very represented there. We saw him before. We saw him doing his little, hiccup, red nose, swaying, typical drunkard shtick. But it's not too often that I get to see somebody who combines the true ultimate powers of drunkard and stimulant into a real hero that I can get behind. So
I'll also give
probably.
Well, I wanted to piggyback off with your Zio comment, because that was probably also my only laugh, is when Brooke is stepping on Zio's face and Zio says, "No, actually, I'm headbutting the sole of your foot." Like, that is good, but do we need to hear different versions of that joke in earlier chapters to appreciate it here? Because if anything, this is almost Zio doing his Straw Hat shtick of doing the same joke over and over again. And Oda saved the best one for last here with Brooke, but is it watered down since we've seen basically him do the same joke already?
I still wasn't very much a fan of Homeboy Squid here. I liked the combat was pretty good. His piercing, glowing head attack was pretty, I can appreciate that. I felt like his personality still wasn't really much better for me. But overall, I think this might just be a personal thing for me. I think that there was a greater familiarity with these characters, and that does do something for me to kind of have them stick around and kind of implant a bit of their personality, even if it is a bit repetitive to have so much of it in such a limited time frame, and for it to not be so significantly contributory to the plot elements overall. It still, I think, was more enjoyable for me. It was kind of like this really is the wrong way to say it, but it's just what comes to the top of mind for me, so I'm going to say whatever foolishness comes to my mind. It was like, the foreplay was last volume to kind of really get to know him a little bit, and then now this was like it just did a little something for me. It gave me a greater appreciation, I feel like, overall, even if it wasn't all that at the end of the day.
Did Oda make these characters villainous enough to give us the catharsis of their defeat? because Zio, I feel like he's pretty harmless generally. Do I feel good that Brooke humiliates this man?
I mean,
he's working for basically Shark Hitler, who says, "If follow me or I'll kill you." Like, these guys are all like Momu in Fishman form.
Yeah, they're definitely lacking the same edge that Hody has, but Hody's like supposed to be the ultimate, like, most radical, even like past Arlong or Fisher Tiger or anybody. He's supposed to be like willing to kill the whole entire island just because if they're not as on board with killing the humans as he is. So maybe there's something to say that showing them as being kind of a little bit like Hachi, like a little bit in this goofy kind of style, that might be more endearing than just having them all be the same shade of Fish Hitler, because Hody kind of has that covered already. But I mean, for what it's worth, because overall, yeah, if none of these characters existed, it wouldn't really change anything at all whatsoever for the most part. But for what's there, it's more appreciable by me, if appreciable is a word, but you dig what I'm saying, though.
It makes me want to reevaluate how all of the villainous teams in all of the arcs are written and see if I'm being fair to dismiss this one and the character building we get for them. Like, what is it about the guys in CP9? When I see Big Zipper Man chatting it up with the others, why do I enjoy that, but I didn't enjoy the chapter introducing all of these guys? And I wonder if it's really just a preference thing, if Oda wrote it in, like were the CP9 members maybe talking about the plot more? I don't know. It may be something to evaluate one day.
Yeah, and I feel like quick, thoughts on the CP9 background. We have them lying in wait, ingratiating themselves into Water 7 for 5 years in order to hatch this plan. We have them being, trained before we even realize that they have like a training camp specifically for, the CP underscore number members. They have this government affiliation that gives them a little bit of like an additional mystique, I feel like. And then, we also see, once we're returning to, we have the ones that are deployed at Water 7. Once we get to the backup team, and we see their vulnerabilities, some of their quirky traits, what's like in a secondhand way, sort of gives a little bit of extra depth, I feel like, to the existing characters. Yeah, I think just their background, everything surrounding them with context, and I think that
is it
Fishman, but I mean
the moral murkiness where like government undercover government agents who working for the evil world government that allows slavery and stuff, like they're very clear cut the bad guys. When it comes to the villains are victims of racism for after centuries of fucking slavery and stuff, they're raised in the slums and the ghettos. When it's that direct of a comparison to something that in real life has no great answer, and then I'm supposed to be just as happy that they're getting beat up by the heroes. I feel like Fishman Island is complex because these real world issues that it's dealing with don't have real world answers either, and I don't see Oda answering them very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's it does provide that distinction, like I was saying, how Hody is like he has no reason why he hates humans as much. It's just like pure agitation, pure disdain passed on from generation to generation about the ills of humans past.
It's like the parallel would be a young man, maybe not today, but maybe in the 80s, young black man, never faced racism in his life, goes to school and they just shove slavery in his face. He might learn to hate the white man from that, and Hody's in the same exact position.
That hero's name, Sean King, that's right.
Talcum X? So I don't know. Are we still in your top of mind, Aggie? We're almost half an hour in. This might not be a 1 hour episode. I don't know. Although to be fair, your top of mind does encompass most of the volume, since this is just fighting in action.
Well, I mean, we get a little bit of the logistics of a giant ship and their history with that, and so on and so on. But yeah, that was still going to be my top of mind. It was just the my sort of discrimination. Ooh, think about it from the last volume. Like, I don't like this. Oh wait, okay, the peanut butter has arrived to the jelly. If you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think that pretty much settles my top of mind for the most part, I would say.
Aggie, we get more cover stories. Here's my top of mind. King Cobra is on his sick bed. I don't like this at all. This art echo life echo art, imitate, whatever word. How do we feel about King Cobra being sick in bed? Because I've heard this story before.
And Vivi bringing him a bag from S-Mart, and from my understanding, another great King Cobra, one of his last actions was to DoorDash some Tampico juice from Kroger Mart to get himself feeling better before an untimely situation.
It's only been 2 years. He was so happy and healthy, hanging out with Luffy and the gang, checking on his own daughter's fucking pussy in the shower, just peeking over and taking a look. How do you go from that to 2 years later, what, he's now all gray, sickly in bed? He's like the Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka.
Well, I don't want to speculate too much because I'm sure he's going to get all better and it's going to be a fantastically beautiful
God, I
tomorrow.
hope so. Where's Yvonne Cobb with these hormones?
The first, so in the cover stories, we get kind of a series of Alabaster-related installations or installments. Anyway, 638, we have Koza, Royal Environmental Minister. He's over there in Yuba. The trees are growing in the background. Everything's happy and healthy. Could it be perhaps there's certain times in my life where I feel like I hold up a lot on my shoulders waiting for like somebody who can kind of just come and assist me, and then like maybe even subconsciously I'll start dropping some of that weight that I'm carrying on my shoulders. Maybe could it be Koza? He's recovered, things are going good, he's kind of building himself up in the ranks. Maybe King Cobra, maybe he's had some problems, having to protect the poneglyph. There's been a lot that's been weighing on him that maybe he wasn't typically capable of handling, but he just tapped into like a superhuman strength to be able to hold things up on his shoulders, just waiting for some additional people to start rising through the ranks to kind of keep his people stabilized. Now that we have people like Koza who are able to do that, maybe now he's like, oh, I'm an old man and I just need to, so maybe this might not be anything terminal or long term, a real substantial reason to be concerned, but it could be like a whiplash where he just is in a fatigued state for all the extra work that he did, even maybe without him knowing, and now he's gonna just need a little bit of time to build himself back up, get back on his feet.
Well, let's hope and pray. Pray to Satan for the quick recovery of King Cobra as he would want. And Aggie, I believe we have a new member of our crew, and I brought in a bunch of comments today because I figured, we don't want to set too many records for short episodes here. And I was not too convinced with the content of this volume. Tater Potato has joined the crew, Aggie. Are we going to be...
Boil and mash them, stick them in a stew? Let's see.
Yeah, are we going to just throw him into an obvious answer based on his name, or could we even go beyond the realms of creativity here?
Actually, another thing just came to mind for me. Did you know you can power a light bulb with a potato? I think I learned that in science class when I was like 6 years old.
Seems like a Bill Nye fun fact.
And I think there's got to be some dark nights out there in the pitch black seas where maybe, I think our first electrician, I don't think we even, but it obviously exists. The transponder sales are live streaming and all this stuff. We know it's real.
Those aren't electricity. I think those are just like living creatures with psychic connections to each other. But we've seen them make a Frankie, there's got to be some sort of electricity. We've seen an underwater fridge.
That's right.
Okay, electrician, I like it. Set up all the lights and shit. Tater Potato, the electrician. Let's pull up some comments. And these comments encompass not just last week, but all kinds of episodes. Because Martyr Loser King, a big fan from the Treehouse channel, he has now started his One Piece journey and he's taking it with us. And he likes to insult me. I don't know if I've ever read a comment from him that was kind, but he seems addicted to it, so at least he likes it on some level. And he has some criticism for us. This is the Volume 22, Water Luffy versus Crocodile. He says, they all knew where to come together because Usopp fired a star in the air that acted as a flare gun. It's not Disney writing. Fake fans. Did we call that Disney writing or did we call it Mickey?
I feel like we started calling things Mickey around Annie's Lobby. I don't really seem to recall us using that terminology beforehand. So
we called it Disney writing because we missed that Usopp fired a flare. Did we really do that?
Maybe it was because, hold on, think about this, Disney writing, because when you wish upon a star. Okay, so maybe we really knew what we were talking about. Maybe it was just the way that I say things sometimes sounds like incomprehensible schizophrenia, but I really do know, though.
Maybe Martyr Loser King is an accurate name. He's being a martyr by posting an inaccurate comment, so he's taking the fall for us to expose him as being stupid. He's a loser because he was wrong, and he's the king of such things. So
he's the king because he smashed that like button. Thank you very much.
You know, we could say whatever we want about him. He probably won't hear this for like at least 3 or 4 months. And by then, we're going to forget we even said any of this, like we forgot we said whatever he's mad about.
Planting the seeds for the next comment reading in time, that's right.
Okay, here's one from volume 63. Demented Duskull says, I remember this volume well since Koala's introduction was one of the moments that made me cry a little. They find this little slave girl that was just rescued from her captors and has this permanent dumb smile on her face. So then the fishmen hit her and are mean to her, and she starts cleaning her own blood off of the deck and saying sorry while still keeping that blank smile on her face. Oh man, it hits you how this little girl was broken and traumatized so hard that she can't stop smiling because she believes she'll be killed if she stops. Now, I wanted to bring that in because I feel like we mostly skipped over that when we talked about that volume.
Well, yeah, I think there's definitely that depth there, that emotional impact. And I feel like it did kind of get swept up a little bit for the overall overarching betrayal from the humans versus Fisher Tiger. So, but yeah, I mean, this is, you know, it can be just put, oh yeah, here goes, this is a slave here, this is somebody that's a property of the Celestial Dragons. But yeah, there's definitely some things to ruminate over. And I, from what I gather, Koala might be somebody who is a little bit beyond just a couple panels of a character. I'm only basing that off of the fact that cultural osmosis. I've seen Koala existing in Burning Blood as a selectable character, so
yeah, I'm glad that this character that we know as an abused slave, tiny child gets bikini DLC in One Piece Burning Blood. Cool. There's no Hody Jones in One Piece Burning Blood. There's 2 or 3 koalas. Fucking stupid. Why is Hody not in the game? What did Hody do wrong? They can't make a Fishman other than Jinbei?
I'm going to expound upon this because it's more relevant in an upcoming bonus portion we have talking about the first One Piece movie. But I do just want to mention it all the same very quickly here. It was brought to my attention there's a One Piece Game Boy Color game. I think it's like Grand Adventure Dream Log or something. Japanese only. They're working on translating it, but I feel like we can do that with AI now. Anyways, but it has like 200 playable characters or something, and it's like a Final Fantasy style One Piece game. I only just got made aware of it. It looks crazy. and I definitely want this to get translated so I can play it, because it looks like it might be like the ultimate One Piece game, up to like as far as it covers, which is we've read past as far as it goes, but at the same time, I thought I'd mention that real quick. So anybody that's out there that's a real One Piece gamer head, keep your eyes on the progress of that translation.
And like Eggy said, we are reviewing all of the One Piece movies as bonus content for the members of the Measly Crew. So if you join the Mumkey D. Jones YouTube channel, $3 a month, there's lots of bonus content already there and even more coming on a monthly basis. Anyway.
The reason why I'm going to save any further talk for that is because in this Game Boy Color game, they have like a whole thing about what's in that first One Piece movie is like content that's in the game. So I thought that was very interesting, but I'll talk about that when we get to that.
You can play as El Guapo. What was his name? El Chapo? What's the bad guy's name in that movie?
El Dorado.
El Dorado? Confodio says, wasn't expecting Mumkey to be reading Zatch Bell. Honestly, one of the best manga out there. I think I'm on volume 25 of Zatch Bell. That's my Zatch Bell update. I'll say the Faudo arc, F-A-U-D-O, Faudo arc. Too long. I don't care. Could have done with a different mega arc here, but it's fine. It's fine. It's really just a setting. An excuse for a cool setting. More comments.
Maybe I'll just tap in real quick here. I'm starting to read a new manga myself as well, because when I was down in Florida recently, I was perusing around Barnes & Noble because I needed to use their bathroom, but I figured while I was there, let's see what they got going on. They had some big, fancy, really expensive, like One Piece coloring books, but I was like, let me just pick a new manga at random, and there's an Animal Crossing manga that I bought the first book of, and I have not read it yet, but you know what? It might be for like 40-year-old women, but you know, at the end of the day, I like a cute little slice of life sometimes. It is what it is.
The Poopy Doopy says Vanderdecken should have just covered himself in pillows and thrown himself at Shirahoshi. I remember watching the Fishman Island anime the same way I watched Dragon Ball Z. I kept my finger on the right arrow key to fast forward. To be fair, I cannot imagine this volume that I read today or yesterday in about an hour. To imagine these 10 chapters stretched out into, I imagine, at least 3 or 4 hours of anime content, that's gotta be brutal to sit through. Not that I hate action, but it's just, they're gonna stretch out every little bit of it. It's gonna be like watching the Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies, but it's just the Straw Hats fighting these fucking fish. It's too much.
Even with the exposition, as I mentioned, between these Fishman generals that the Straw Hats are fighting, I'm sure it probably is like, 2 episodes per fight, and it just doesn't need to be. There's absolutely no reason for that, except that that's just how anime works. But that's why manga bros, we just keep winning.
Is that fair to skip through Dragon Ball Z though? Was he watching like a? I guess is there a bad version of Dragon Ball Z worth skipping through? Because I did just watch Kai.
I just I feel like you don't need to like fast forward or skip through. That's just how I feel. Like I don't know. I mean, I can see why. Like, oh, there's a lot of this going on, but yeah, I think you could just watch Kai or something or GT. Is that the one? I forget which one is like the trimmed down version.
Kai. But GT is some bonus stories that people didn't like, even though it's probably 10 times better than Daima, which was dog shit. Dog shit. Love Machine pointed out Eggy got a prediction right that we did not catch. I just realized that's another Eggy prediction. I don't remember which episode he said it, but I remember back when he said something about Usopp being a warrior of nature way back before he knew Usopp would get his green stars. Do you remember saying something like that?
I can't really remember what the context would be there. I guess my mind kind of goes towards like Jaya, like maybe when they're going through the forest there, maybe there was something in Skypiea perhaps.
Yeah, we were
But
probably predicting their future power-ups, and you said, oh, we could get some nature, probably based it on a video game or something, but take the dub, Eggy. Well, that's what, 10 Eggy correct predictions so far? Could it be? Ghoul City says, why does everyone on Fishman Island talk about Arlong like he's dead? Is he? Luffy just beat his ass up. Why are they acting like he killed Arlong? We saw Hachi escape from a prison ship in the cover stories. We don't see much about Arlong, Eggy. Is he dead?
I mean, I certainly would not doubt it. I don't know what. He's obviously very stubborn, very contradictory. He's not somebody that is really going to bow down to anybody, and who is like a fishman that has rule over him. I guess like Neptune or Jinbei or whatever, and he's not really inclined towards them because they weren't in line with his mission. So I feel like there's not really anybody that he's going to submit to. Therefore, at the least, I would say imprisonment unless he's escaping. But unfortunately for our true Arlong heads, I think death is certainly a possibility.
He was not in Impel Down. That's a pretty good sign that he's either dead or enslaved. And I would like to think he's a slave for the Celestial Dragons personally on Mary Joa. And that in one of the final arcs, if perhaps the Straw Hats are invading this place to beat all the Celestial Dragons up and the Marines and shit, would it be Kino if Nami had the compassion and grace to free Arlong from slavery? I think it's almost a guarantee in this story if he's a slave. I don't see it going any other way.
Well, if we're considering this to be, towards the end of the series, or
this would be like chapter 1466.
I could see at least there having been enough time and enough other things that have gone on in Nami's life and in the world that his freedom wouldn't be the most pressing moral issue, but at the same time, it could still be difficult for sure because of everything that she has gone through. So,
well, if it's like a big raid and we need more manpower to fight off all these bad guys, Arlong, you can sharken on at least a few fodder characters, and I'm sure it would end up being like an absolutely crucial release for the ultimate plan to go through. Like, chapters later, Arlong saves Nami from something, and then she's able to help Luffy deliver the final blow to the guy. It'll end up being, Nami's character arc will be necessary for the sake of the world, because that's how this shit always works in every fucking arc.
Right.
Oh yeah, hey you stupids, this is from John Neville. You stupids, give us more emoji. We are post time skip, also a whole year in, and no new emoji. I want Perona and Kuma, why not Dragon or Mihawk? Now, when I read this, I did give them new emoji, but I forgot to take his suggestions in mind. But let's see who I did give them. And I changed the badges too. So like the membership badges that appear next to your name, depending on how long you've been a member, those are all switched up. I added a new emoji, including Brooke, Hattori, the pigeon, and Hattori is also a badge. So it'll appear next to your name if you've been a member for 2 months. Tangent.
That's right.
We all love Tangent emoji. Ganbei, the bunny. Perona, of course, Perona's going to be in there, and I think Perona becomes a badge for people as well. I threw Aggie in there, so you can have Aggie doing, the O face, or I don't know if we call it O face, do we? That's more of a sex thing.
When I'm reading One Piece, I got a constant O face, so I think it works out, but.
And I got one of Jinbei screaming with his eyes bulging out.
Base.
And we can get even more emoji if we get 7 more members. So if you want to help choose and become a member and all that, make it happen. Hope you guys like your new emojis.
Spam every emoji in the comments section below if you're listening to this part right now.
Yeah, make everybody jealous. Fawaz says, I'm sorry, but I just don't get it. Why can't the fish people figure it out like normal people? It's not physical strength, that's for sure. You mean to tell me they lived on this earth as long as normal people, but they still only have one trash island that's infested with problems? And the only reason it stood for so long was because it was protected by white beard? I'm not saying it's an IQ thing, guys, but we need to consider it. What job should a fishy with no brain power whatsoever and decent physical strength do? Of course, under a normal human's supervision. Is he right, Aggie?
I guess what trait we see Hachi, he's out here cooking some delicious food. Is that
he's seasoning
really...
that food like in a way that humans never could? That's a necessary trait. But Joram responds to him. He says, "Come on, dude, if the fishmen just got some reparations, they would be able to succeed in this world." Does JJ agree with that?
I'm thinking at the end of the day, if they could just get a little closer to the sunlight. I mean, right now, what are they supposed to grow? They can't really grow anything at the bottom of the sea. Seaweed. They're trying to sell their seaweed, and these damn humans are coming in and giving them these extra lengthy celestial dragon enslavement sentences just for trying to move a little seaweed. It's out of control. Get them a little closer to the sun. They're going to have some new opportunities. I'm thinking that's what time it is.
The answer is just let everybody live in the sun. And finally, there's more debate about what we should review after One Piece. And Bleach has been brought up, and there's two Bleach opinions back to back. Bromax says Bleach is a little underrated, genuinely great for the most part. And then Valdeborg says Bleach is really bland compared to One Piece. It goes all in on aesthetics, and fans defend it as deep because they draw parallels to greater works when Bleach relies more on ass pulls and power-ups than Dragon Ball Z. Truly a terrible experience. So should we go with Bromax or with the Valdeborg?
I see myself as somebody who is enamored with like flashy and shiny things. So if Bleach is more style over substance, I might judge it as such, but that doesn't mean necessarily that I couldn't enjoy the stylistics of it as well. So
our volume reviews might become 20 minutes if it's all style over substance.
We could do, like do them in pairs and just do it for, like a couple months or whatever.
So Bleach, you're on our watch list. We're definitely doing Bleach next. Fuck JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm actually cutting that out, and I'm declaring I will never watch or review that in any way. Or we'll do that one next.
And whatever we're feeling like. Yeah.
One or the other. Maybe we'll do JoJo's Part 1 and 2, and then Naruto Part 1, and then JoJo's Part 3, 4, and 5, and then Naruto Shippuden, and then JoJo's Part 6 and 7. And then it'll be the fucking year 2030. And Trump will be starting his fourth term, and
maybe we'll be sponsored by bugpaste.com, or
I guess that'd be his third term, I guess. But yeah, bug paste, and we'll have our cocks castrated off, because who needs them in our One Piece utopian future. 2030, Oda will be starting the final arc. Now that's a joke. We'll be lucky if we're in the final arc in 5 years. I mean, technically 4 years, really. Aggie, now that we're almost 50 minutes into this episode, let's go through the volume a little bit. Although I feel like we've covered most of it. What really my top of mind should have been is that homeboy Hody stabs and kills Vanderdecken. No! We can't have nice things. We can't have incel heroes without betrayal from Chad. It's sickening.
Yeah, and what's really terrible is that, he really just stabs him just for being...
for thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he does... that escalates, and then Vanderdecken is ready to kill him after that, but... I mean, just at that point, they could have talked it out, but see, that's why steroids are bad, folks. You're going to go into roid rage, you're going to start throwing pitchforks, and it's no good for anybody.
Yeah, Hody even sort of approved of this change in plan, but nope, I gotta kill him to make the arc fall back down and crush everybody. Do we have the final fate of Vanderdecken here? He kind of, he's okay from the stabbing, and then he slips and bonks his own head against something, and then he's like foaming at the mouth, and that's what makes his power deactivate. Now, Hody was implying he needs to be dead. Did this kill him, or does just getting knocked out also deactivate his power?
Well, it looks like that deactivated his power, but I feel like there is still a possibility that he could come to and, have something activate. But, I mean, they are kind of attacking the Ark and everything as it goes by the end of the film.
Yeah, if his, 1 HP near corpse is on this ship that Luffy is obliterating, will he even survive that if he can't swim?
Right. And I think it does kind of pose a question, because we have the princes who are basically saying, hey, you know what? This Ark, this is something that we are tasked with protecting. It's been around for so long that we don't even really know about its origins or anything necessarily. We just know that this is something we have to protect until the special day comes. But this Ark is about to kill all of the fishmen on Fishman Island, and then what exactly is there waiting for if we're all dead? So just go ahead and destroy it anyway. It's there's definitely because who knows, maybe this Ark, could be the magical special Ark of old that it was supposed to sit around and then take everybody to Fishman Heaven or something. Now they're all doomed to Fishman Hell. Who could really say for sure at this point? But definitely something to contend with. And I would probably find myself coming to the same conclusions as the royal princes did, but it's kind of something you have to contend with for sure.
It does tie into this theme of inherited will and how there's good kinds, bad kinds, and maybe kinds that are a mixed bag here. Let's evaluate these, folks. And I really like that Luffy nails Hody with his Red Hawk Flaming Fist attack. He's literally inheriting Ace's will here, in a positive way, against a guy who inherited hatred as his will from, Arlong and the, I guess, Fisher Tiger, who never would have intended this lesson to be imparted upon Hody. So a bastardization of an inherited will being hit with a flaming fist. But then we have this other will in the Ark. Oh, ancestor, our forefather, whoever from long ago, he said, keep this thing safe. And now in the modern day, we have to consider, hey, maybe their will was for this to exist for some future purpose. But in the modern day, we got modern day issues, and sometimes smashing up an Ark is the only solution. So you have to betray their will for the sake of the present day. That's kind of complex and interesting in a way that Fishman Island seems to be. Complex and interesting, often more than outright amazing. But still, hey, you could probably write more literature essays about Fishman Island than most other arcs. But yeah, that doesn't make it necessarily the most exciting to read all the time. I don't know why I'm bitching, Aggie. Let's go back to you. Everything I say has to turn into bitching now.
Well, somebody who we just simply could never bitch or be mad about, our beloved Wadasumi, probably after some pondering as we go through here, he might be the best Fishman villain, because I'm not saying that I'm prejudiced against real Fishmen. Now, I think Wadasumi is technically a Fishman, but he's definitely, way different than the rest of them, in my opinion.
He's like a sea spirit, I think.
His lovable, sort of low-functioning nature that lets him get tricked into like blowing himself up into a giant inflated balloon that ends up just getting popped and blown into the sky like a Team Rocket twinkle into the stars. Yeah, there's something about his stupidity and his brutish nature that is very endearing. He doesn't have to be all here with all this fancy stuff. He's just a big guy, and he's eating steroids, and he's gonna get mad and he's gonna punch you. It's at the end of the day, and he might go against you and try to inflate himself to assert his superior physical stature. I mean, just relatable on so many fronts, to be honest. Maybe even more so than the drunken squid.
How does Wadatsume help us understand Jinbei's power scaling? Because currently, Jinbei is warlord level. He's got a higher bounty than Luffy. Him and Luffy were fighting it out a little bit earlier in the arc, and Jinbei was basically winning with his Fishman karate. He was sending Luffy flying and actually doing physical damage to him. But then here, yes, Jinbei and Sanji have to double team Waratsume. Usually we're not seeing characters of this caliber having to team up to fight somebody. Is Jinbei stronger than Luffy at this point or not? Because I think Luffy could have knocked this bad boy out on his own.
Yeah, I think maybe Jinbei could be worn down a little bit, perhaps, at this point. That's really about the best idea that I could have. Obviously, we do know that the energy steroids are playing a role in the enhanced abilities of all of the new Fishman pirates here. But, yeah, other than knocking out the Kraken, I feel like Waratsume is not really exhibiting any greater offensive abilities. I guess they're there, and I suppose that the energy steroids should provide him some more endurance as well. But really, we just have him kind of getting knocked around and being a giant idiot. And then, I mean, that's really what it all boils down to. I don't think he really has any other offensive exhibitions. He's threatening to roll over onto the people and just smush them with his giant self, and then he just gets shot and blows up all his air and flies off.
Well, we've seen villains become crew members in the past before. Do you think Waratsume or any other characters will be joining the crew in Fishman Island? We haven't really talked about that yet. It's been a long time since we had a new crew member. I guess Brook.
I think I could see him possibly assisting in progressing to the next phase.
Waratsume's not joining the crew?
I would not suppose that personally, no.
What about that sexy mermaid with the freckles on her face? I think the SBS gave her a name even. Maybe she'll join the crew.
You know what? I mean, you really can't go wrong with the mermaid. That'd be something I'm very hopeful for, to have as much of as possible, and I think Sanji would back me up there.
Or what about Nika? We've heard so much about this Nika mermaid. Maybe she should join.
If they got quintuplets or whatever, I mean, at least they gotta go do something with their lives at some point. Maybe the time is right to join off onto an adventure into the new world. It could definitely be like a, Nico Robin when she was still Miss All Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Whiskey Peak and kind of pulling up on the ship, maybe we could have just like a little intermission of, as we're on our way to the next spot, maybe we could have somebody from Fishman Island kind of tagging along for a little chit chat, giving us some new world information that they might be privy to. And I suppose that the young mermaids might not be fitting that bill, but maybe Kami or somebody would be able to give some information there as they're out swimming around out here in these open seas.
So nobody then is joining the crew? No Neptune, Sun, no Jinbei?
I guess if anybody, I would say Jinbei, just because he's already been out and about. He's already been worldly. I think he would be the best addition, but I think that the royal family, I think they'll have enough on their plate. I think any of the other Fishman Island inhabitants, I don't really feel like anybody else even Hachi, I would say, would be more likely than any of our more recent introductions, because he could heal up and he's got, maybe he's got a reason to go to the new world for his business. Maybe he wants to expand, franchise out a little bit.
Do you see the crew getting much bigger? Because we have 9 already.
Well, I suppose they probably should, because, if you're going to be king of the pirates, you probably want to, expand out. And I mean, if the size of our measly crew is, dwarfing the Straw Hats by several magnitudes,
I think they could still take us.
I would imagine that at least like 2 or 3 more members are going to be coming in at some point. But then I suppose if you have so many, what's kind of the nice balance to, because you're going to need them all involved in every single situation that's going on. And if you have, 10, 12 crew members to write for and give dialogue to and have panels of, in each situation, it might get a little bit diluted compared to just some, like, 3 or 4 of them going in at a time.
So
But
for the
I
sake of
imagine,
balancing the main characters, hopefully Oda knows what he's doing, doesn't add too many more, doesn't add a billion minor support characters that hog all the spotlight from our crew that we want to spend time with. Keep it small and simple, Oda. I like that idea. Other cover stories, we see they built a theme park in Skypiea dedicated to Usopp's rubber bands, and they made these epic hero statues of him. Our favorite character, Nola, the giant snake, is letting kids bungee jump like from his mouth. Very wholesome and fun. And I have a theory, just based on this cover story. I got a brain blast. I feel like Oda feels like, from the perspective of a child and from the perspective of human evolution, the culmination of human ingenuity and joy and happiness is an amusement park. And even here in Fishman Island, we see the Fishman children. They go to Sabaody Park, and that's their dream. They just want to go do that, but they can't because they're discriminated against. And here, Skypiea is freed from Eneru and this vicious authoritarian government. And now that everybody's free, what do? They build an amusement park. And we've been wondering if Luffy's true dream is not just to be Pirate King, but something beyond that. I'm wondering does Luffy want to build the world's biggest amusement park? Or perhaps an entire island that is just an amusement park? Have we seen that before? That seems to be the natural conclusion after you free somebody from a tyrannical government, is you build an amusement park. Is that what Luffy wants to do? Did I just crack the case?
Well, here's what I hope supplements that idea, is that, if we get to like chapter 1400 or 1500 or something like that, then Oda reveals, by the way, here's my One Piece island that I've been, crafting with my riches and my great success this whole time for the last 15 years. Now that we've reached, this particular point in the story, I can unveil it, and then we can all go to the beautiful One Piece amusement island, and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing that all of our lives are completed by. So I hope that's real.
It would have to be more fun than the Harry Potter world that they made. I imagine that's just to sell you fucking $80 plastic wands. But One Piece Island is going to be about true freedom. Every ride is the galleon pirate ship that just goes back and forth. Which they uninstalled at Adventureland when I wanted to film myself on that ride. Fucking bastards.
Brutal.
And you could even say that Oda might have had it planned from the beginning, because the East Blue Saga leads to Arlong Park, which is just Arlong making his dream come true of going to Sabaody Park. He styled it exactly after it and just didn't build any rides for some reason. That would fix it. And I think in the live action, did they not make Arlong Park have like more carnival? If I slightly recall, there's something more going on than what we see in the manga to make it more parkish. But still, hey, that's evidence that it was planned from Saga 1. So I think Endgame One Piece, Luffy's building an amusement park. Either that or they're going to the moon, which they might have already done to find the One Piece. Who could say?
Think about this too. At the end of the day, this is a little bit of this in this upcoming movie review we have here, but an idea that maybe just pure physical wealth, at the end of the day, what is it really there? It's just some money sitting around. It's just all stacked and piled up. What are you going to do with a big pile of money besides look at it, throw it around, and do some Scrooge McDuck business? Nothing. That's what. So what you could use that money to build or do something, develop something that could bring real, true joy to everybody. And what better way than to bungee jump from a giant snake? I couldn't think of anything, to be honest.
And Luffy said, I don't want to be a hero. A hero gives all their food away. In, like, what, 1 volume ago? What if Luffy's character arc, because, that's Fishman Island. This is basically the midpoint of the entire story in a way. Luffy's character arc, maybe he does want to be a hero at the end. And when you go to his free amusement park, all the vendors give out free food. Like, that's the ultimate Luffy. Luffy thinks if somebody gives me food, they're a great person, they're my friend for life. What if he extended that hand to the world at large and everybody can attend Luffy Amusement Island and eat for free. And maybe it's easier done than said, given some future events of One Piece. Maybe there is such a way to mass produce food like that. I'm liking my idea more and more every second. I think we cracked what the One Piece is. It's Luffy's amusement park. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this volume, Iggy? Well, we get some Chopper character development. He can control being in his Berserker monster mode for 3 minutes, and he says, "Hey, I didn't want to be a monster, but now if it's for Luffy's sake, I'd love being a monster." So, cool. He's embracing what he didn't like about himself because his friends like it. Personally, I think we could all probably relate. If you embrace some things, it works out for the best.
Some stuff, people look at you, and they call you a horrible, freakish monster, but
if your friends in high school say, "Oh, you look more like a monkey than a human, let's start calling you Mumkey," just decide that's your new nickname and go post online under that name. Who knows what could happen? Mostly good things. Like 61% good.
I gotta say, there's a lot of people out there that call themselves Eggy now because they have large and rotund heads. I've seen several of them online, and you know what? More power to them. I kind of feel like, in a way, the Usopp pirates. They rallied behind Usopp. I kind of feel like I was the big-headed man who took an old slur, the egghead slur. That's right. It's a hate speech, and I said, I'm gonna own. That's my word. And we're taking it back, reconquering it. And now we're not afraid to be out here with the inability to wear most hats. But thankfully, this straw hat from Macy's, wherever that I bought this secondhand from, is doing what it needs to do. That's right.
Can't believe Oda would have such a slur on my beloved manga. But yes, it does say egghead. Will we ever reach that arc on this podcast? That's what I would like to know.
Well, I should certainly hope so. And if I had to go look up the publishing date, I bet it is beyond 2014 when I started describing myself that way. So,
almost certainly. But anything else that we missed from this volume? Let's see. Robin has some dark humor, saying, "What if we get crushed? Will the sea be dyed red with our blood?" So we get our one Robin dark humor joke of the volume.
We do get our hero. We love him so much, South Bird. He's over here with the Northwest and East Birds also on the Chapter 644 cover story.
Oh, I missed that.
They're all having a loving, beautiful time amongst all their freakishly shaped bird heads.
I didn't realize there were birds of every cardinal direction. That's funny. Huh. And they're all friends. So they're facing opposite directions while hanging out?
They could be different, but at the same time, I'll find that which connects them, and I think it's a really great message to have, considering where we're at. And I do want to give a special shout out to Hody in his fully steroided form. He's turning into a little bit of like a Giga Chad caricature. Like, his jaw keeps on just getting more square, but also at the same time just more completely deranged freakishness. Like, his eyes are getting beadier. He's looking more shark-like than really ever before. But he's got like a horror almost quality to him. So that's cool. And I'll give another shout out to the cover stories as well, because we have our beautiful monkey scuba divers who we know and love so much.
Masura and whoever.
Masura is easy to remember because he's
Masura
got his,
and Yosuku. Johnny lost his friend. He became a monkey. But yeah, now they're seeking a new adventure. Now, instead of deep diving, they're looking for some mythical island, right? What did that say? Nakroa, the Island of Dreams. I wonder if Cricket and the Monkey Brothers will ever find it.
I love them all very much, and if they would definitely be very high on the list. I could probably think of somebody higher if I give it some time, but I would be
High on the list of
very
what?
pleased.
Of characters that you like? The Monkey Brothers? I thought we disliked them. But where did they go on the tier list? Like A, B?
I think we disagreed on. I think I liked them more, and you did not like them as much.
Giving us monkeys a bad name. We do get an explanation from Brooke. We were wondering if his power was the influence of music, like as to brainwash you in a way. Yeah, he explains he really tapped into the power of his devil fruit, which I guess is like the revive fruit, right? But I guess his soul can impact other people's souls. He says, by playing music, I can rock the souls of others, drawing them into my world and even showing them illusions. That's a crazy ability to have from the revive fruit, but good to know. What were you saying?
Well, it's funny because I was going to say something about him also, actually, but his another power he displays here, and he kind of just sticks out because we haven't necessarily seen, I don't feel like, a definitive offensive ability, like something special anyway. And he's got a like a chilling enchantment on his weapon. He's got like the chill, the coldness of the dead, or something like that. That he's able to impart this frost damage onto his attacks, his physical attacks against Zeo. So I thought that's very cool, very sensible as far as the connection to his character of what other abilities he could have. So, I mean, you know, Nami, she's got her weather stuff. Sanji's going to kick a certain way. Zoro's going to slash a certain way. Usopp, a little more tactical with the strategy and the placement of the traps and things here as well, notably. But you know,
and he keeps doing that stupid pose, like the genius anime guy pushing up his glasses, kind of like, "Oh, I got you, fell into my trap." Like, I hope Usopp gets over that. Like, we get it, you baited him and planted some seeds or whatever, but you're not that smart. You're just shooting shit.
Yeah, that's
it's tactical. I'll give him that. It's tactical. It's just annoying.
But so it's kind of like a development of established abilities versus where what I see from Brooke here, I feel like is, for me, it feels refreshing and new in a different kind of way. So, and then Frankie with him continuing to utilize these abilities in his, like his laser beam, that his General Frankie construct is able to utilize.
Which, speaking of One Piece Movie 1, the bad guy basically just had Hyper Beam ability as well. So, you know, can East Blue Luffy take on Radical Beam Frankie? We're about to find out in the bonus episode.
That's right.
Had you seen Luffy's Gear 3 elephant gun before, where he's big, round, black ball of a hand to pound somebody? Because I know you've seen it in the video game, but had we seen it in the manga?
Did he use that in the last volume against like a large amount of enemies, I think? Or was that something different?
I honestly don't remember, but
I feel like I feel like we saw something. It seems to me like I'd seen it before, as far as in this arc.
Okay. And I think that might wrap up most of what I had to talk about. So you're saying nobody's joining at the end of Fishman Island? Are we expecting Fishman Island to wrap up in the next volume or two?
Yeah, I feel like it's been moving along pretty good. You know, it's... Take that statement how you want to, because we have, like, this volume is mostly just Straw Hats fighting fish generals, and it was maybe not as optimized as it could be, but I enjoyed it still all the same. I think that they certainly could wrap it up, though, within the next couple of chapters. I feel like... I think next volume, I feel like is just going to be like a conclusion to the combat, maybe to being able to redirect the arc for making contact with Fishman Island. And then I think the volume after that is going to be sort of like a wind down and like a moving forward. So then will it all fully conclude and be moving on to the next by the end of 2 volumes from now? That I'm not too sure, but I would say at the latest, we'd have like 2 volumes, and then like the 3rd volume, so what, like 68? I think 68, like the beginning of that at least would be sort of moving us forward to the next spot. So that would be my prediction as far as the pacing right now.
Any other predictions or thoughts for what's to come before we run off to the bathroom and then come back to do the bonus episode?
Well, I'm going to echo, I think it's Usopp makes a statement to this effect in this volume. He goes like, oh, it's nice that we get to, really go through all of our new abilities before we hit the new world. And that's kind of pretty much my thoughts on where we're at right now. Like, hey, we're seeing some cool things. We're seeing the powers going up, and we're getting our fins wet, before we go and splash off into some brand new and truly terrifying, I'm sure, adventures.
Are we seeing Fishman Island high on the tier list?
Yeah, I mean...
Is it above Syrup Village for Aggie?
Yeah, I could probably give it that. I think from here
you
on
love
out...
Syrup Village, Aggie.
Yeah, but I think I'm starting to... I think my gauging of things, I'm going to give a little more credence, a little more weight. I mean, here we have, basically the result of like a lengthy generational, racial, intercontinental, interspecies war. We have, we've come down in this bubble, down to this island with the royal family. We got, 100,000 soldiers versus there's more there. It just is. I love Syrup Village. I do. And it's a beautiful thing, but I think it's just going to start getting outpaced, and there's not really too much to say about it, unfortunately.
All right, folks, I gotta pee. So P1 East, people. I forgot to say the one last time. I'm so humiliated, Aggie.